book swaps. You know them, you love them, they're sort of a tradition on this channel. It all began when my dear sweet wife approached me to do the very first swap we ever did, which, by the way, if you haven't already subscribed to my wife's channel, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. Go, right now, now! I even swapped book series with my sister. You remember, the one where she made me read Twilight for the first time? Yeah, let's not talk about that. In today's video, I'm taking book swaps to a whole new level. All right, the way that this is gonna work, I have 3 special guests, and this is going to be the biggest book swap I have probably ever done and ever will do in the foreseeable future. Without further ado, let's get our first, I almost said contestant, but first victim? Come on, Chelsea! Look what it is, you all know and love Chelsea so much. Yes, everyone go subscribe to her channel. You all know what to do. The book that I've chosen for you is Lovely War by Julie Berry.
I know nothing about it, so I'm excited.
So, based in World War I, Greek gods weave the destiny of 6 main characters. There's a love story, there's tragedy, there's hope. And of course, it's set in one of the most fascinating times of history ever, World War I. So that's what makes this book very special. Ashlyn found this book earlier in the year, fell in love with it. She had me read it. As soon as I saw it on the shelf, it's like, this is for Chelsea.
And it's pink.
And it's pink.
This is my favorite.
I think you're going to weep and laugh and have so much joy. What do you have for me?
Wonder.
Oh yeah, you've been talking about this book forever.
This is my favorite book that is not part of a series. Basically, it follows this character, August Pullman. He has a genetic disorder. This is his story. He's actually gonna go to school the first time. 8 parts to this. Each part is a different character's point of view. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. It changed my life. It makes you really consider how you're thinking about other people and how you're treating them.
Because you've talked about this book for years.
I have. I love it. I think because I also had a genetic disorder, it hit me in a special way too.
Yeah, you connected with it.
Anyway.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will meet back on the other side. I can't really tell you what chapter I'm on, but I'm on page 35. I think the book is maybe 310 pages, so it's pretty short read. So far, man, what do I think? So this poor kid, our main character, August, he's born with a birth defect. When he was a little kid, he had several surgeries to try to overcorrect or maybe fix the issues to the deformities on his face. And so he's permanently scarred, of course. He has surgical disfigurement, but the whole premise so far is that he is of middle school age. I think he's a 5th grader, so he's 11. His parents think it's time to enroll him in school. Instead of continuing on with homeschooling, they thought, you know, it's time to integrate him into the world, get him into school. And so he just took a tour of the school that he'll be attending. 3 of his new peers walked him around school and gave him a tour. There was one kid, you know, I don't normally say this, but I would definitely like to push this kid down a flight of stairs, maybe several. And I get it, kids are mean, especially kids that age, 11, 12, 13. We were all pests. Middle school sucks. I feel like the authors captured very well in this first person voice of August, not only what it feels like to be a person in his shoes, but what it feels like to have other people acknowledge it. Oh my god. It's like I've never been in front of a camera before. Wonder update. Wouldn't you know it? It's the sponsor of today's video. Hungry Root. Hungry Root is a meal kit and grocery delivery service that provides healthy food, recipes, and even meal planning. Hungry Root is the easiest way to eat healthy. They're like your personal shopper and nutritionist all wrapped up in one. They take care of everything so you don't have to. Let's get into what I got, shall we? Oh my gosh. First and foremost, every single delivery comes with one of these. On one side, it's a detailed list of every single thing that's come prepared in the food kit, and on the other, it's every single recipe you'll need for the week. For instance, they've given me everything that I've needed to make in each one of these meals. Honey lemon thyme salmon with asparagus, island style coconut curry chicken, zesty bison avocado lettuce wrap, Thai coconut chicken with green bean stir fry, za'atar salmon chop salad, and finally coconut curry chicken with some super blend. But that's not all. They've also provided certain breakfast meals and snack foods and desserts. Would you like to see what's in the box? We've got meat, more meat, some sweets. All you have to do is tell Hungry Root what your preferences are, and they fill out your cart with personalized recommendations. And guys, let me tell you, every single recipe can be made in under 15 minutes. They guarantee you that there's no junk ingredients, artificial sweeteners, or preservatives. They guarantee you top quality every single time. Hungry Root has honestly been a game changer for Ashlyn and I because, you see, the thing is with my beautiful wife Ashlyn, she has what is known as an autoimmune disease, and it's been a struggle over the past year to find quick and easy, high quality recipes that don't disrupt her health. With Hungry Root, they made it so easy to find food and recipes that fit every single criteria that she requires. And all of this combined makes for the healthiest possible food options we've ever found in any delivery service. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box plus get a free item in every single box for life. Click the link down below in the description or go to hungryroot.com and use code IanGubeli. Thank you again so much to Hungry Root for sponsoring today's video. Back to the book swap. Hi. Hi, sweet boy. Come on, back here. Oh. Never mind. Ah! He shoulder checked me. Wonder. Thoughts and opinions. I'm on part 5 on 187. I'm over 50%. I'm not gonna lie, that first part was really hard. From August's perspective, you know, I'm not gonna lie, his perspective kind of got me down. He's been raised his entire life acknowledging he has this distinguishing factor about himself. And unfortunately, because it's out of the norm, his condition is a physical shock to people. Being as young as he is, going into middle school for the first time and dealing with pre-pubescent fetching teenagers. Oh gosh, dude, some of the kids suck sometimes. Dealing with all of that, just the mental and emotional roller coaster that his part kind of was a bit hard to read, I'm not gonna lie. Unfortunately, the way that others see and perceive him, he starts to see himself and perceive himself in that way as well. And so he really gets down on himself, which a young boy dealing with this his entire life, I understand. I feel for him. It's really, really sad. But what was interesting is I forgot that Chelsea told me that this is told from multiple POVs. Before I got to part 2, I thought, this is gonna be a hard read because the headspace that this poor kid sits in it's rough. I think I now understand the brilliance of this book. The way the author uses all of these main first-person voices, it keeps the plot going. I mean, this no longer feels middle grade. This feels literary fiction. When I say middle grade, I'm not saying this is like easy to read or like, oh, it's for children. He writes it in such a way that it is so accessible. You're not gonna come to this getting the most eloquent prose. You're going to walk away, and I haven't even finished the book yet and I'm already saying this, you're gonna walk away with a lesson in humanity, kindness, and being compassionate and being fair and honest. I see why Chelsea loves this, and I see why it's one of her favorites, and I see really how it resonated with her, especially how we grew up and what she had to deal with when we were younger. It really hits home, and I see why it's so special. So let's get back to Wanda. Yes, big boy? Misha. What do you want? He's not as scary as he looks. Oh. What do you want? He's my shadow. Are you my shadow? Are you my shadow? Go lay down, Kay. Please? This battery's about to die, so I don't have much time. Almost there. Dudes and dudettes, we're almost there. Okay, I'm on page 257. Over 80%. Killing it, going along. We are finally back in August's point of view. It's interesting, once people start getting used to something, they stop caring as much. In the beginning, everyone was kind of afraid of August. Kids were kids and they were stupid. But now, it seems like nobody cares. People have gotten to know him. He's more than what his outward appearance is. He has a fantastic personality. He has interests, he has likes, he has a humor, and people appreciate that. And so it's really nice to see this organic coming to terms with how silly everything has been for the most part on the student body. Now, of course, there are kids that still make it a big deal because they're trying to stay relevant. They don't like that the attention is no longer on them anymore. Truly a gem of a book. Hello, folks. I finished Wonder, and what a wonder it was. All right, I guess it's time to talk to Chelsea. Perfect. Hello. I need the book. This is chaotic. All right, Chelsea, how you been?
Great.
Good. Good. The book swap has finally come to an end. Our second book swap together.
Yes.
Wow.
Number 2.
Are these on? Yes, they are. I guess to begin, you all know the drill with book swaps. Once we've read them, we come back together and we talk about what we read.
Yes.
And then possibly rate them if we want to or not. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I could go first.
Perfect.
Okay. Lovely War.
What did you think?
4.75.
Holy crap. Okay, give me the tea.
I like how it was set during World War One because there's
Yeah.
not a lot of books. So you get to learn a lot. I was asking lots of questions of the people around me. I like how it's very from the beginning. It's just catches your attention. There's no drawn out parts.
Yeah, there really was no fluff to that book, was there?
No. And then I really like the characters and the diversity. They were all well written. I guess the only reason it's 4.75 is, you know me, I'm a sap for romance. So I would have liked more time with the couples together. There's also a big plot twist in it that I loved. And I was like, no, I hate this book.
I knew it was the perfect book for you, and I'm so glad it was a hit.
Okay, I'm so excited. I love this book.
This book, it humbles you in a way.
Yes.
It makes you stop to think about other people's situations, whether physical or not. In Augie's case, of course, it was very much physical. I hate to say this, but he kind of, to other kids, I could see why he would look like a science experiment. We all know little kids are not the nicest people. Really, really touching story about a kid learning how to, on one hand, August and his family having to learn how to just get along with this. And it's like, no, he cannot live this way.
Yep.
Otherwise, what is his life really amounting to?
Yeah.
And so it's really great to see the character arc of the family and how they have to change and kind of accept this. Very deep lessons told in such a simple way.
But I like how Augie has to learn, because there's one scene, right, where you probably know what I'm talking about, where he had a crappy day at school. He heard one of his friends say something.
Oh,
and then he's just
yeah.
so upset. And he's like, I don't want to go to school anymore. She's like, Augie, you want to be normal? This is part of being normal. Like, your bad days are not more important than anyone else's bad days just because you have a disability.
Honestly, I think I'd give it like a 4.25.
Ooh.
You can see how everybody has to, I hate to say deal with it, but like that's what they're doing. So I think really well done, really good picture of humanity. Good swap.
Yeah. Good
Oh,
swap.
I'll give you your book back.
Oh, and I'll give you yours.
Well, thank you.
I'll have to buy that now.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, before you go anywhere, Chelsea has filmed her perspective. So go and see her vlog, give her some love, and her channel is amazing. You're gonna find a lot of stuff there. So, love you. I'm sweating, it's so hot in this room. Well, that's fine.
Coming in.
No. Folks.
Ooh, bigger beard.
Bigger beard. This is my cousin, Spencer, but I relate to him more like a brother.
We grew up together.
We did. I'm so excited to have you on the channel.
I know, I am too. We talk about books all the time. So.
We do. Almost every single time.
Even
get
when we were
together.
little.
We're both super nerds of the Lord of the Ring.
I know I don't look it, but I am Lord of the Rings nerd.
He's a mountain man, but he loves fantasy. But what I have in store for you is not fantasy. It is a book you've actually talked about wanting to read for quite a long time.
Thought maybe it would be this one.
It was perfect timing. Perfect timing, and it's a perfect excuse to give you this book and see what you think about this series. The Iron King
I figured it would be that one.
by Maurice Drillon. This, according to George R. R. Martin himself, is the original Game of Thrones. French kings and queens. I think this is the beginning of the 100 Years' War.
Okay.
I think these characters, these people in history were the ones that kicked it off.
Is that Philip?
Yes. So Philip the Fair.
He's the one that destroyed the Templars.
And you get all of that. I'm excited.
I have been excited. Your review of this book got me intrigued, and we've talked about it a couple times. Fantastic.
Enjoy.
My turn?
Yes, your turn.
Oh no. All right. So this wasn't actually my first choice for you, but I couldn't find the other book. I'm sorry.
No, makes sense.
But this one I read a long time ago. We've all seen the movie. It's called The Revenant. Maybe not all of us, but a lot of us have seen the movie. It's nothing like the movie. We get that a lot with most books. I struggle watching the movie now because I read the original story. And it's a story about how tough people can be, you know?
Yeah.
We think that humans are weak, but deep down inside, we're really not. And I think Hugh Glass's story portrays that very well because he went through some crap
Yeah, man.
and arrived back alive. It also paints part of the art of the West is the landscape, and I think this author does a pretty good job of putting you there in the landscape where the prairies meet the mountains, and I think you're gonna enjoy it because it's just kind of a piece of art.
Dude, and I'm excited because I love this time period, researching this time period, and I love historical fiction, so nothing better. All right, folks, Revenant time. I am currently sitting on chapter 4 on page 34. I didn't want to get too far into this before I gave you an update or thoughts on this. Ashlyn and I are preparing to go on a trip, so laundry's being done right now, so if it's a little bit loud in the background, That's why. Spencer knows what he's doing. Spencer is definitely somebody in my life who has inspired me to really deep dive into history, particularly a certain aspect of American history. The mountain men and the trappers and the plainsmen and the frontiersmen and the people that kind of trailblazed the West in certain aspects. I actually borrowed a nonfiction book of his a while ago that told the story that I'm reading here. So this is definitely historical fiction. This is a retelling of the story of Hugh Glass. Boy. My goodness, I just read the bear scene. I knew the book was going to be way more intense than the movie. I felt like the movie kind of dragged it out a little bit longer. I felt like this was a very realistic portrayal of being attacked by a fetching grizzly bear. The infamous story of Hugh Glass, where he's part of the Rocky Mountain Fur Company. Hugh Glass was a very experienced frontiersman. He'd been on several expeditions. He knew what he was doing. He was out scouting for deer when he came across a sow grizzly and her cubs. If you know anything about bears, that is a terrible predicament to find yourself in. Hugh Glass got messed up by this bear, man. The way that Michael Punk described this event, it was intense. It was like this really exciting burst. It wasn't drawn out. It wasn't lengthy. It was very realistic on how quickly a bear can take down a full-grown man. I mean, I say full-grown man as if it's a threat to this grizzly. I'm just past the point where his company found him and they're trying to keep him alive. So they're kind of coming to this impasse of, do we leave him for dead? Do we keep going? There's only so much we can do for him in the wild, but we also have some things that we have to do. So they're coming to the crossroads. I'm excited to see how Michael Punk delivers the rest of Hugh Glass's story because it is a very crazy story that happened in real life. I think that's good. And oh, how you doing? I would like to say that this is my house, but it's not. Ashlyn and I are currently off in San Francisco. We're here on vacation. It's currently Christmas Eve as I film this. I need to give you an update on this book swap. Currently, when it comes to the Revenant, pretty good ways in, almost halfway. I don't know, there's like 40%. On chapter 10, page 98. Oh boy, this book is crazy, y'all. Very gnarly. It's intense the entire time. I love Michael Punk's writing. I don't know why I was surprised by his prose, but I love it. Sometimes it's poetic and it's very beautiful. There's a nice flair, but then at the same time, it's still, when it comes to the actual delivery of the story and the events and the dialogue, it's very simple. I love the mixture of elegance and simplicity. The book is now turned into a revenge story. Friends, family, and intimate reading associates. It has been a few days since I updated you on the book swap. The other night when you saw me reading this book and I gave you the last update. Yeah, where did I make it to? I have made it a fair way. I think I'm almost 60% of the way through. I'm on chapter 16 on page 149. I'm realizing that the movie took so many liberties and changed so many things that the fundamental aspects of Hugh Glass's story, they're almost two completely different stories. I think the thing that's really impressive about this book is the amount of research that went into the telling of this story. Not only are we getting the fictional retelling of historical events, down to the plants that they knew they could and couldn't eat, the plants that were good for medicinal purposes and the plants that were to be avoided, and of course the animals and the geography and the geological aspects of it. Like, it's crazy how much these mountain men knew about the land, about the rivers, about the trails. Well, I mean, they were blazing the trails themselves. The ecosystem of the West was so new. It was such a fledgling economy, especially around this time, like in the early 1820s. It blows my mind. Sometimes it's hard to believe how much this man went through because it's one thing after another. I'm very much invested in Hugh Glass and his story. I can finish this book and then we can have a little chit chat with Spencer. Dude, I swear, when you think this story can't get any worse, it gets worse. There's no situation this man could be put in that's worse than the last one. It just has a way of surprising you. Man, I'm so glad I live in the 21st century. finished The Revenant while we were there. This was, I think, today is Tuesday. Finished this maybe last, I think, Thursday? I'm not gonna give you too much of my thoughts because, again, this is for Spencer. Let's check back in with him, see what he thought of the Iron King. Hi, buddy. This is his favorite room.
It just cuddles, dude. All right, you go first.
Me first. Okay. The Revenant. I was already familiar with the story because the movie and, of course, that Mountain Man book. And so Hugh Glass's story is just, if it wasn't like written down, you would think somebody made it up.
Absolutely.
How could one man
Drag himself for 200 miles?
How?
In today's world, that's just incomprehensible.
I think the only men who could possibly do that now would be like Navy SEALs.
We're so used to comfort, like that amount of discomfort would be crazy to think about.
Event after event after event.
Indians that were just friendly and then attack you the next day when you're out of camp. You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
Like the life on the frontier really was it was wild.
It was wild.
When you get left with nothing, like you rely on your horse, your boat, and your gun. And so like that was really what just got the gravel in his gut. So.
Yeah. And I think I really do like the guy's writing.
He does write well.
I mean, he brings it to life in a way that's not...
He doesn't get over... Like, he's descriptive without being over-descriptive most of the time.
Yes, he's not like most of the guys who write about this certain topic and make it all about the nature and the trails and the rocks.
Kind of, like, puts it across, but doesn't, like, bombard you.
I would give this, like a good 4-star. Because it was just pure entertainment.
Yeah.
And, of course, it's a story that I really like.
Like, some of the things that they went through just to, like, push civilization that way. You know what I mean? They were uncivilized men that really made it so civilization could flourish.
You know exactly.
Iron King, man. Like, I feel you didn't oversell it. You might have undersold it just a snack.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Certain parts of it were just like you just get drawn in. Especially like when it came to the Templars and what they went through.
Sometimes it kind of felt hard to read.
A little bit. The history of it is crazy. And what some of those men went through, bad men getting rich, because it's essentially like they run out of money, pick a certain group to attack, so they went to the Templars.
Of all the groups, they served loyally.
They did.
No, I get it. Some of them became rapscallions.
They did. There's bad eggs in every batch.
Yes, there is. And some of them wanted their own gain, and some of them were just sadistic sociopaths that wanted to kill.
They did. Try to do their best.
They really
were
did.
kind of lost cause at this point. They were trying to find their place in the world.
You took a noble order and drove them to ruin.
Yes. You were their friend. But because they wouldn't accept you as the Grand Master, because you can't be king and be a Templar. So they didn't allow you to be the Grand Master. So then you got butthurt. And then this dude comes up with this idea, let's take all their stuff. And the intrigue, because then the prophecy of the Templar is you three will meet me in heaven at the tribunal of God.
Yep.
And then one dies, and the last one's Philip. And you learn he adds that extra spice of these people are helping that
Yes, sir.
come to fruition.
Oh, yeah.
That was crazy. It was a great plot twist.
And I think it really helps bring home why the series is called The Accursed Kings.
Yes.
And now I see, because we're both really big fans of A Song of Ice and Fire.
Yes.
For George to be the blurb on the front saying this was the original, it makes so much sense.
Very much so.
Well, all right, what would you rate it out of 5?
I would put it at a 4. It really is entertaining. It's really well written. He gets descriptive in some things, but what author doesn't?
Good.
Solid book.
Solid. Good. That's crazy. Let's get on to Christian. Folks, this is my brother.
How you doing?
Can you tell? Book swap time. So I'm still having trouble.
Figuring out something for me?
Yes. Well, I have 2 books. Do you want the fantasy, or would you rather go with the historical fiction?
Let's go historical fiction.
Okay, so the book that you said no to would have been The Lives of Locke Lamora. It's kind of like if the Count of Monte Cristo met The Godfather met Pirates of the Caribbean.
Well, that actually sounds pretty good.
You can always change your mind if you want.
Okay, let's see what the other option is, and then we'll roll the dice.
The next book that I thought to give you was The Winter King by Bernard Cornwell. This is the first in the Warlord Chronicles about King Arthur. This reads like a fantasy, but it's purely historical fiction. One of the best stories I've ever read. And it's one of the most unique tellings of the Arthurian legend that you'll probably ever read. It is a series. Unfortunately, both of these were series, so it's not like you can just
one and done it?
Yeah, because, after you finish that, you're going to want to jump into Enemy of God. It's just so bloody good. Yes, it's so good.
Well, mine is also a series. I'm just giving you the first piece of it. It is Louis L'Amour, Sacketts Land, and then the follow-up book, The Far Blue Mountains, and they're just the story of the first Sackett to make it to the Americas. So it starts over in England.
Okay.
And then it's his story about getting to the Americas back in 1599, I think is when the book starts.
Oh, Lord, really?
There's pirate fighting, there's mountain man stuff.
I've needed to read this for so long.
Swashbuckler.
Look at that, historical fiction for historical fiction.
Yeah,
Who
one
would've
for one, tit for tat.
We will reconvene when we're done. is Sacketts Land by Louis L'Amour. I know this is the beginning of the Sacketts series. There's like 17 books. We're gonna start where it all began with Sacketts Land, following Barnabas, our main character. Without further ado. You telling me that's how he writes? It was my devil's own temper that brought me to grief, my temper and a skill with weapons born of my father's teaching. Yet without that skill, I might have emptied my life's blood upon the cobblestones of Stamford, emptied my body of blood, and for what? Until that moment in Stamford, it would have been said that no steadier lad lived in all the fenlands than Barnabas Sackett, nor one who brought better from his fields than I, or did better at the eeling in the fens that were my home. Then a wayward glance from a lass, a moment of red, bursting fury from a stranger, a blow given and a blow returned, and all that might have been my life vanished like a fog upon the fens beneath a summer sun. I think I'm gonna like Louis L'Amour. I got a big dog on my lap. What a bumpkin, dude. Alright folks, I don't know the last update I gave on the book swap. I have filmed an entire video in the interim since I updated this vlog. I finished Sacketts Land. I blew through that book so fast that I didn't even film. Yeah, Sacketts Land, blew through it, was introduced to the character of Barnabas Sackett, ancestor of what will become this great American legacy. I must say, that guy is like a superhero. He's larger than life. So much stuff happens to that man in 185 pages. I was shocked at how much content Louis L'Amour was able to jam into that amount of pages. But I fell in love with his character, and I really started to enjoy the side characters around him. And just everything that he went through in that novel was so... It was like Robin Hood, met Pirates of the Caribbean, met like almost heroes, only without the comedy. I'm on to the sequel. Barnabas' story was not completed. I am already 100 pages in. I think... Oh no, sorry. 99. Barnabas is at it again, but he's on the run. There's so much attention that he draws to himself. And in this one, the stakes have gotten even higher because now the enemy is no longer just one nobleman and his resources. It's the British Empire. One man against an entire empire. I am loving his writing so much. I've already got a huge chunk of this bad boy taken care of. So let's get back to old Barnabas. Over halfway through. What the heck is up with this? Barnabas's story is wild. I've never known another fictional character to go through as much as this man has gone through. The thing is, we're not even done. I'm on page 203 of 370, so it's at a point where the story is unstoppable. I think tomorrow I'm reconnecting with the group, and we're going to talk about the books that we've swapped and read, so that'll be exciting. Dude, I swear. About 70% or so, I would say. I've made some headway. I mean, I'm on page 262 of 370. I just get so distracted with other things sometimes when I sit down to read this book. But when I do actually sit down to read this book, it flies. Louis L'Amour's prose is so readable, but there's enough flair to it that seems so appropriate for the time. When there's dialogue between characters, it feels authentic. He's done a really good job of capturing the voices of how people would have spoken to one another. And you know how I said earlier that it just seems like Barnabas goes through crap after crap after crap? Silly me. When I thought L'Amour couldn't freaking raise the stakes, he just keeps raising the stakes. Why? Why does... around every freaking corner, something has to happen to these people. They left their fort for like a day, and they come back, and it's burned to the ground. We don't know if pirates did it. We don't know if freaking Indians did it, but it happened. With these two first novels of the Sackett books, it just seems as though Barnabas is the only one with his vision in mind. And granted, I love Barnabas, but it's kind of humorous to me sometimes when he's like, we're gonna strike out on our own, and we have to go out and we have to do this, and we got to get to the Blue Mountains, blah. And everyone's like, we could, and this is a bold idea, Barnabas. Let me see what you think. We could trade with the Indians, load up on furs, get out of here before winter really comes, go back to England, get some money, chill for a while, and then maybe come back. And he's like, no. Been there, done that. I can't go back. The Queen's men, the Queen's army is after me. Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, Barnabas, it doesn't really seem like anybody shares this vision. It's like, man, in your boldness, you seem just slightly naive. And of course, I'm not out here saying they shouldn't trust the Indians. Of course they should. I mean, how else are you gonna freaking establish trade? You gotta be friendly. Back to the story, man. We're almost there. Okay, that wrapped up rather nicely. That was a stellar ending. You want to just come back here? Lay down, Goose. Come on. Come on, you can do that.
You are just a menace.
He loves you more than me. Oh, hi. So who do you want to go first?
Rock, paper, scissors?
Ooh, okay, deal. Are you a shoot man?
Not a shoot, man.
Gotta get
Best 2 out of 3. 1-on-1. Okay.
What did I think? Old Barnabas Sackett, bro. He just...
Cool name out the gate, let's be honest.
No, honestly, I like the time period it's written in. I felt like he really did a good job of writing how he would have spoken. Barnabas himself is one of the most larger-than-life characters. He always seems so positive.
Yeah, nothing ever gets him down.
Even when he's being hunted or enslaved, you think that he might die, but he never does.
No, he's a hard man to kill.
There came a point when I was like, how much more needs to happen?
Can one man endure?
Yeah, don't even get me started on some of the people that leave him.
Yeah. You don't want to? Do you want a spoiler or no?
Nah, I'm not gonna spoil it.
You got to read it because it's pretty devastating.
It just seemed like sometimes Barnabas was the only person with his vision.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna go to America and we're gonna do this and it's gonna be good. And everyone else was like, I'll come. And then they realize what his plans are. They're like, I don't want to do this.
It's a lot of work.
You guys don't want to put in any elbow grease, no effort.
No.
He does everything for them.
He's like, I just want to build a new world and be free. And they're like, yeah, that sounds great. But we have to do this, this, and that. He's like, I don't know if I want to do it.
Like, we're gonna trade with the Indians. Like, ooh.
Savages? No.
How do you know they're savages?
Because you made you a savage.
And really, by the end, there was really only one man left, and he was an outlaw. So there's nothing more American than that. No. Overall, I think Barnabas' story, I'd give about a 4.25. I'm not going to rate these books separately because they're the same story.
It's really one story.
Like, really, this should have just been one book.
Nice.
All right, your turn.
I read, I think we all remember, The Winter King by Bernard Cornwell. I thought it was super solid. The main character, Dervil. I like him because he's just kind of an everyday guy. There's nothing really special about him. I mean, he's a Saxon slave, and then he becomes basically Arthur's right-hand man.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, it's a pretty sweet rise.
Oh, yeah.
Raised by Merlin. But like, there's nothing like, he's not the greatest warrior.
No.
Not the best leader. He's just a dude. He's very loyal, though. Whoever he's riding for, he's riding for. So I like that part. Ooh. Oh, geez. You meet Arthur. I love Arthur. Anytime
Yes.
he's on the page, super solid. I like how confident he is. I really like that he's, why have enemies when you can have friends? He's all about, like, let's resolve this peacefully. If it goes sour, like, I'm not afraid to throw hands and wipe you out. And then Merlin as well.
Dude. Yes. Okay, I was hoping for your opinions on Merlin. Gimme.
When Merlin hits the page, because you're not really expecting, you're like, where is Merlin? Everyone's just like, Merlin, 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 but you never ever meet him. And then boom, there he is.
We're used to Merlin being either just like, it's either the Sword in the Stone rendition where he's just goofy, like, ha ha, Merlin, I can time travel. Or he's very just, he's like Albus Dumbledore from Harry Potter.
Yeah,
Equally.
he really only cares about his agenda. So I don't know what side he's on.
He seems so morally gray.
Yeah, but not at the same time.
Exactly.
It's a weird dynamic. I wish you got more of them. That is one of my gripes.
Enemy of God.
So there's a lot more
There's a lot more Merlin.
in Arthur.
Oh yeah.
Cause I trust me, I like Derville.
Oh yeah.
But like some of the tangents that we had to go on with Derville, I didn't appreciate. Yeah, I'm here for Arthur and him trying to save the Britons.
Yeah, and him keeping Mordred alive.
Some of the names, I will say that was like my really the only beef.
Yeah.
With, and I get that he's probably doing some old Saxon and old English names.
Because this is like 6th century.
But
Britain.
dude, the places in the name sometimes, like I don't remember. It's hard for me to keep track of who was who.
Yeah, and that's why the audiobook really helped.
Yeah, I did have to listen to some of the audiobook just to get some of the pronunciations.
So what would you rate it?
Why would I rate this? I'd probably rate it like a 4, solid 4. What this book did for me was get me excited. The rest of the Chronicles.
Dude.
This is a great foundation piece. And I want to see, I'm excited for what happens next.
Yeah. All right, folks, there you have it. Yet another book swap come and gone. Again, make sure to go over to Chelsea's channel, like and subscribe. Her video will be coming out February the 8th, I believe, is what she told me her schedule is. So any more book swap recommendations, any more book swap video ideas you want to see on this channel, drop a comment down below. I'll see what I can get done. And quickly before I go, I'd like to give another thank you to today's sponsor, Hungry Root. Just remember, for a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Click the link down below in the description or go to hungryroot.com and use code IANGUBELY. That's 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life at hungryroot.com using the code IANGUBELY. Thank you so much again for being here. I'll see you in the next one.